Sawadee krap. I'm sure most of us have encountered the Christian commandment, love thy neighbour as thyself. I'm a big fan of the controversial and modernist philosopher Slavoj Žižek. In his analysis of this Christian commandment, Žižek asks, who is the neighbour? And he answers that the neighbour is reality, real humans living the human condition. Yet the real human of the neighbour includes all his or her traumatic vulnerability, frailty and fallibility. Žižek thereby concludes that the injunction to love thy neighbour and the related teaching about equality, tolerance and universal love are ultimately strategies to avoid encountering the neighbour. In his depiction of the neighbour as a manifestation of the real human condition, Žižek argues that access to this condition is therefore not impossible. It is to be found through the neighbour, but is traumatic and threatening. Encountering the real via the neighbour confronts us with the raw and vulnerable nature of human beings, and such an encounter is often avoided in favour of more acceptable and idealistic generalisations of humanity. Therefore, communities tend to pick their members with care, to screen out the unsuitable, unpalatable or unlovable. To Žižek, the avoidance of an encounter with the singular and concrete experience of the neighbour is propelled by an aversion to one's own vulnerability and lack, which might be mirrored in the other. This avoidance explains the popularity of humanitarian causes, which lies in their inherent paradox, whereby one can love from a distance without getting personally involved. He says, it is easy to love the idealised figure of a poor, helpless neighbour. In other words, it is easy to love one's neighbour as long as he stays far enough from us, as long as there is a proper distance separating us. The problem arises at the moment when he comes too near us, when we start to feel his suffocating proximity. At this moment, when the neighbour exposes himself to us too much, love can suddenly turn into hatred. The proximity of love and hate, the imperceptible slippage from one to the other, which characterises so much of human existence, is a recurring theme reflected throughout literature over the centuries. There is no love without hate. If we really want all in our community to love each other, then we all need to love the real human condition, the real life we all live, with all its imperfections and problems. We have to embrace the whole and recognise, like the yin and yang of Chinese philosophy, we need the opposites of the human condition to highlight the good and to frame our happiness. I hope you all have a lovely weekend. Kop kun krap.